Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely change how you look at building information modeling. We are shifting it away from just being a fancy 3D drawing tool and turning it into an active, living organizational memory system. We're exploring this idea of building knowledge for better decisions. And specifically, we'll be diving into the 6 QPMO relational domains of a BIM receipt. By leveraging these lightweight receipts, we can introduce true decision provenance and accountability to our projects. And honestly, this could save you millions in rework and confusion down the line. Okay, let's talk about the universally dreaded phrase, "That is not what we decided." If you've spent even a week in construction management or engineering, you've definitely heard someone yell this across a crowded conference table. It usually pops up months after a change was supposedly finalized, right when the budget is squeezed and the schedule is slipping. But here's the thing, this isn't just a simple miscommunication. It's actually a massive, multi-million-dollar systemic failure of memory. When a project manager hears those words, it means all the rich context surrounding a crucial choice has just vanished. We're operating in this wild strategic paradox right now. On one hand, we're literally drowning in terabytes of project data. Models, drawings, RFIs, sensor data, you name it, we have it. But on the other hand, we have total organizational amnesia. True organizational memory simply doesn't exist. The original design team scatters, the superintendent moves to a different project in another state, the lead engineer is MIA, and we're left with nothing but what I like to call a geometric ghost of a decision. We know exactly what changed in the 3D model, but we've completely lost the critical knowledge of why it changed. So how do we fix this reconstruction crisis? We need decision provenance. Basically, this is the ability to track exactly how a choice came to life. Where did it come from? What facts or evidence supported it at the exact time it was made? Who was in the room? Who actually had the authority to pull the trigger? And finally, what was implemented and what was the actual result? Decision provenance is what keeps our digital memory accurate and actionable long after the concrete is poured. Because let's be real, BIM software doesn't make decisions. People do. Without tracking that human element, all you've got is a detailed model showing a change with zero logic or authority behind it. Section 1. Introducing the BIM receipt, the lightweight bridge to legibility. Now you're probably thinking, great, more paperwork, but how do we capture this provenance without burying a busy team in bureaucracy? We use a BIM receipt. It's a lightweight, highly structured record that connects a digital choice straight to physical reality. It works exactly like a bridge. Step 1 is the model context, linking to specific GUIDs, which are basically digital fingerprints for parts of your model. Step 2 is the decision context, grabbing the human assumptions and facts at play. Then step 3 runs it through governance to clarify exactly whose authority approved it. And finally, step 4 tracks the field action. This entire loop takes the digital intent formulated in the office and connects it directly to the physical execution out in the dirt. Section 2, the core framework, the 6 QPMO relational domains. Let's unpack the real meat of this explainer. To actually build knowledge for better decisions, we have to lean on the Quality and Project Management Office, or QPMO. More specifically, we use the 6 QPMO relational domains. These domains systematically protect against that organizational amnesia we talked about. First, identity anchors us, so everyone knows exactly which beam or pipe we're dealing with. Next, relationships map out the ripple effects, like if we move this wall, who and what structurally depends on it. Then there's meaning, which is huge. This is the intellectual heart of the receipt, preserving the exact rationale and assumptions so nobody has to guess later. From there, action bridges us to actual field execution and procurement. Governance steps in to define authority and accountability. And finally, transformation acts as our critical feedback loop, capturing reusable lessons so your company never makes the same expensive mistake twice. Together, they form a bulletproof organizational system. To make this super concrete, let's look at a totally everyday scenario, a routine MEP clash. Imagine you're doing a coordination review and bam, you find a massive structural beam slicing right through a critical mechanical duct. A traditional BIM workflow just gives you a geometric fix. You reroute the duct in the software, bypass the beam, and call it a day. But if you apply those 6 relational domains, you get actual organizational knowledge. With a BIM receipt, you document the core assumption that the duct's airflow performance was non-negotiable. You record the governance, noting that the lead mechanical engineer gave formal technical approval for the bypass. And most importantly, you capture the learning. You document that maintenance access was almost blocked by the reroute, meaning future access checks are now a strict requirement. See the difference? We didn't just shift lines on a screen. We turned a simple geometric fix into a permanent project improvement. And we probably saved some future facility manager from tearing open a drywall ceiling just to change a filter.
Section 3. Documentation density follows risk. The minimum viable receipt.
Look, nobody wants more paperwork. Construction professionals frightfully hate it. If every minor chat requires a massive form, the project dies. That's why this entire system runs on one golden rule. Documentation density must follow risk. Enter the minimum viable receipt. You just pick from a small family of 6 targeted receipts. You've got assumption receipts for quick, unverified data, like a pending soil report. Commitment receipts to lock in agreements across contractor handoffs. Decision receipts for the big commercial choices. Risk receipts to make accepted risks highly visible. Repair receipts for field failures. And learning receipts to preserve field innovations. You only record the exact context and accountability needed for that specific moment. Keep it lean, keep it fast. So as you can see, the documentation scales perfectly with the actual risk and complexity of the problem. A routine, everyday issue? That might just be a basic BCF status update assigned to an owner that takes all of 5 seconds. But a mission-critical condition that impacts safety? That automatically triggers the full governance and evidence process. You only invoke the heavy executive governance when the project's integrity is truly on the line. The paperwork follows the risk, not an arbitrary bureaucracy. Section 4. Ethical guardrails. Transparency without surveillance. But hold on, creating this massive trail of digital evidence comes with a heavy responsibility. We have to ensure these systems are used for continuous growth, absolutely not as weapons for pointing fingers later. So we apply 4 strict ethical guardrails. 1, we document the decision, not the personalities of the people arguing over it. 2, we preserve the technical rationale, never the messy office politics. 3, we capture the final commitment, not the 10 exhausting meetings it took to get there. And 4, we record the learning, not the blame. The philosophy here is incredibly practical. Transparency helps people see reality sooner, whereas surveillance just makes people hide reality longer. We want true, intelligent accountability based on what was actually known at the exact time the decision was made. And the payoff here is massive. This system builds long-term value that lasts way past the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Think about a facility manager needing to replace a huge air handling unit 5 or 10 years from now. With a basic as-built model, they might unknowingly swap it for a unit that completely wrecks the building's energy efficiency. But if a BIM receipt traveled directly into asset operations, that manager sees the exact performance trade-offs, the maintenance concerns, and the rationale the original design team made today. BIM effectively transforms from a temporary construction tracker to a 50-year bridge of permanent facility knowledge. And this brings us to our final, maybe most urgent point, artificial intelligence. We are increasingly handing immense data sets over to AI to analyze right now, so we face a critical question. Will your future AI look at a 3D drawing and just blindly guess why a wall moved, inferring a mere geometric ghost? Or will it be armed with genuine decision provenance, the rich assumptions, the rejected options, the exact authority behind a choice, so it can actually collaborate with us intelligently? The choice is entirely yours. Leave a structured receipt today, or risk having your AI blindly hallucinate the history of your most critical decisions tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Start preserving your project's memory today, and let's turn those building models into lasting building knowledge.